myself to be my best self. To be creative. And to let go. I allow myself time and space.
Yes, 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 yes. Come on over right now to Doctah B Serious at YouTube. We're doing a live about the book, What's Eating You? So come on over and join us. We're starting right about now. The music is going, the introduction to the book, the much awaited book, the anticipated book, the already best-selling book, What's Eating You? So we'll be talking about that over at YouTube. You can also go to my bio link tree and link in so you can get this information and hear the story about the creation of this book. I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Elevationtime.com, and go to YouTube, Doctah B Serious, like the star, on YouTube. See you over there right now. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. It's that time again. It's elevation time. Are you ready, willing, and able to allow yourself to discover what is eating you? I'd like to welcome you all to another broadcast episode 3, all about the book, all about what it takes to move past opposition, the journey from opposition to liberation, as we break free from mental, physical, and energetic parasites. Welcome one, welcome all. Today is a very special day because we are able to breathe and experience life once again. So we celebrate each day and realize that this could possibly be the only day right now. I'd like to start off by being grateful that all of you are here, that all of we are here on this ball or this flat disc or whatever they say it is now, this place, this space, this dimension. Mama Gaia, the earth, has been supporting us. Let's give thanks for Mama Gaia, Mother Earth, supporting us. Let's also be grateful that this day brings us the maximum that we desire. If you're here for the first time, please put in the chat that you're here for the first time. And if you're a veteran, you've been here many times. How'd you get here? How'd you find out about this? Call your friends, tell your friends that this is it. It's time to discover and uncover what is eating us. I'd like to ask for permission. Is it okay if I share information that you may not have heard or heard this way? Is that okay? And is it okay if we make this a little fun? Laughter is very special medicine. But crying is also medicine too. They are not opposites. Is it okay if we talk about some things that may be a little agitating? Some things that may go deep? Is that okay? Some of what we talk about on these programs is not meant to disrespect anybody's beliefs, anybody's way of thought. We're here teaching, giving, offering information that may be helpful to you. It is my highest desire that the information that I bring or we bring and we display or cover or unfold or research in some way changes you or shows you that there are people out there just like you. We're not alone. And we have never been alone. We are not separate from the all and have never been. The universal God is in all of us. We are it. It is us. I'd like to also take a moment to send out a prayer, a meditation, a breath, a focus, an energy field for all those who are going through pain, illness, sadness, dis-ease, those who may be having financial challenges, mental challenges, spiritual challenges, health challenges. We're at a time where a lot of people are going through challenges. So let's be grateful for who we are and send out waves of energy around the world to all of those who are going through the great challenges, and also celebrate those who are making strides. Celebrate those who are breaking through. Celebrate those who are breaking free from mental, physical, and energetic parasites. We are all on a journey moving from opposition to liberation. It's a daily event. Each day we start again. We start brand new. So we're grateful for this day. And let's just take a little silent moment to breathe as we send out waves of good energy, healing energy, uplifting energy. Let's take a second and do that now. And we ask that the Creator within us all be here with us to support us as we move through this time, as we move through this space, as we learn to live and let go. We're grateful for this time, and we know that we're not going to be in these physical bodies forever. But we are grateful for our lessons, our challenges. Let's be grateful for the endless life that we have in the cosmic realm, in the spiritual realm, in the energetic realm. We live, we travel, we are on a journey. And right now we're just on bus stop Earth for a time. Let's enjoy that time. I'd like to start by thanking you all for investing this time this Saturday as we move through this book and talk about this book. I just like to say that today we're going to cover some of the challenges that comes along with breaking through and doing something new. Starting something new. Breaking through. Some of the things that have challenged us can be deep. Some folks make it look easy, you know. They did something. Oh my God, they're out there, they're pushing it, they're talking about it, and they make it look easy. Even me here being on this microphone, on this webcast, is challenging because I got used to being on stage in front of people because I've been doing that since I was a child as a musician, as a jokester. I created a personality so that I could make it through. I created this personality that was an extrovert. But deep inside, there's this extrovert, introvert, who's quiet, alone much of the time, in my mind, creating, thinking, imagining. But at some point, I created this other person who's extroverted. He's out there. He's got talk. He's got jokes. He's got stories. And most of all, he can make music. Music has always been Dr. B's voice. Songs, rhythms, sounds. That was the universe that I created for myself. That was the world that I created, and I got comfortable there. But then after becoming very successful in the music industry, mostly in the background, not as an artist, but in the background as a producer, a writer, a composer, an engineer, a musician, I received many awards and accolades. But they were for being behind the scenes, giving people inspiration. And that was one thing that I realized early on that I was really good at, was giving other people inspiration and boosting other people and helping other people. Sometimes I watch TV and I listen to music and I see some of the artists, some of the creators, some of the producers and writers and actors and musicians who I inspired, because that's what I came to do. Inspire others. But I put myself in the background. So it is a challenge for me today to be a voice in the foreground. Somebody said, well, Dr. B, you make it look easy. No, there's a lot going on in the background. First of all, I have lots of support. I attempt to have people around me who are supportive. But I also realize that some of the people around us act as if they're supporting. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. They're backstabbers. Yes, that's from a song. All the time, some people are not all the time. They're not the all-timers. When things get tough, they get challenging, They disappear, they run. So you have to do this because you do this. Because sometimes the people who you support, they may not always be there to support you, especially when times get tough. A lot of men, they hide how they really feel and what they're really going through, especially from the opposite sex. Because once you begin to get real, not all the time, but many times, and you start going through things, the opposite sex may look at you and say, oh my, you're not the hero. You're not that strong. You're going through things. You're weak. How are you going to protect us? How are you going to provide? So just know that a lot of us hide how we really feel because we've created this character and this personality that may seem like we're always there. We're always helpful. We're always supporting. But there are times when we go through something, and where do we go? Who heals the healers? Who teaches the teachers? Who supports the supporters? Who supports the caregivers when we sometimes desire help and support? But when you're winning, when you're swinging that bat, when you're rapping that rap, when you're singing that song, when you're on television and news, and when you're being, celebrated around the world, you got all kinds of people around you. When you got money, people around you. But when you start going through a storm, it becomes a very, very special place. And you find out who's really with you. Who's really with you? And you begin to realize what is eating you. What is eating you? I wrote this book to deal with some of the things that I realized was eating me. And during the writing of this, I was writing away some of the things that were draining my energy. Because when you're a strong person, you look strong, you act strong, you've created this strong character. The people want you to be strong. And today it's all about the image. It's all about your platform. It's all about your persona. And we always want to put what they say, our best foot forward, our best look forward. But sometimes being authentic and transparent comes with special challenges when you show who you really are and what's really underneath. We're on a journey moving away from the things that we no longer desire and move towards the things we truly desire. At least that's what we should be doing. And sometimes you have to show up and get real. So as I share information about the writing of this book, it is my highest desire that we, all of us can find and locate the energy drains, the things we put up with just to have a certain personality. It is a challenge for me, Dr. B, to be here on YouTube sharing this information. I've been so used to being on the stage that when we decided that it was time to go on the internet so we could touch more people, I went into a certain type of paralysis. I can't see the people. I can't touch them. I know I can read people in the chat, but touching people and feeling people and being here on live like this with a camera and a microphone has been a challenge. But I realized to get to more people, this was the thing to do. And today, as I launched this book and this new music album, which is actually coming with the book, if you'd like to get the soundtrack, which you're listening to a little bit of it right now, that goes with the book. As I do this, as I unfold this and deal with the challenges of even putting the book out, all the things that I'm learning, all the spells that are being broken, they're challenging. So realize that when somebody out there is a teacher, a preacher, somebody you look up to, just know that it is sometimes a lot. So I want to thank you for supporting this mission, this goal, this writing, this music. So on the screen, you'll see the foreword written by Dr. Michael Beckwith. And he asked me if I needed some help. And I said, well, I need a foreword. He says, I'm glad you asked me. And he wrote this foreword, which blew my mind, how he saw me and what he felt about the book. And he said, Dr. B, this book is amazing. He said, I've never read anything like this. He says, your perspective is very different. This is going to be big. I want to support. So I was just so grateful that he got involved and he supports. And then the other people who have actually read pieces of the book and all the support and all the love that's coming, I'm thankful and I'm grateful. But today I'm going to be doing a little reading. And a part of my story has to do with the challenge of reading publicly, reading up in front of the class, reading out loud. And one of the big challenges that I've had, I'm realizing that I've had a bit of imposter syndrome. How many of us, how many of you, how many of we are dealing with this thing called imposter syndrome? Let me read what Google says. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual persistently doubts their accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Despite evidence of their competence, it is not a recognized mental health disorder or a formal diagnosis, but it is a widely experienced phenomena that can lead you to anxiety, depression, burnout, sadness, even suicide, nutritional suicide, mental suicide, physical suicide, because you find yourself being somebody other than who you truly are. Who are you really? That's the question. Ask yourself that. Are you being your best? Are you doing and expressing your true talent? Or are you limiting yourself? Have you been limiting yourself for others? Not being who you could be. The fear of showing off could be the problem, showing out. I realized during the writing of this book, which is not really just a standard book, it's a reference guide. It's a subconscious alignment. It's a deep dive into self. I learned that I, Doctah B Serious, have not been being who I really could be. There's many times when there are awards given. I have several gold and platinum records and golden reel awards that you get as an engineer for engineering excellence. I've actually created instruments and designed electronic equipment for the studio. And when it came time for me to take the accolades, go to the stage, get your award, I would never go. I'd let them send me the award. I wouldn't even go to any. I've only been to 2 award ceremonies in my life. And many times I was awarded, but in me, I was taught to play down, limit myself. Don't get up on that stage because you're not that good. There's too many other people. And that's another thing we do. We sometimes look at what other people are doing and who they are and how they're dressing. Look at how they look, how they sound. They speak so good. They're great orators. Doctah B, that's not you. That's what I tell myself. You're not that good. That was a program. So I am finally stepping up. We all together can step up together. Are you willing to break free from what's eating you, what's draining your energy? What's eating you? Is it imposter syndrome? Winner's remorse? Learned limitation? How often does somebody give you credit and you give it right back? Oh my God, you look really good. And then you turn right around and say, oh, you look good too. I like your hair. I like your hair too. How often do you give it back? Because something in you causes you to limit who you are instead of just taking the gift, taking the award, walking up on the stage. How many of us have very special talents that we hide or we limit? How many of you used to be a musician or an artist, or you were funny and you wanted to be a comedian or a writer or a filmmaker, but something in your head or the world programmed you that you couldn't or made you feel you shouldn't? And that you weren't good enough. You didn't look the part. In California, I dealt with a lot of people who wanted to be actors, but they felt like they couldn't because they were too tall, they were too short, they were fat, they were old. They had a scar on their face. They didn't look perfect. If you look at television, you'll see there's all kinds of people represented in the movies, in the shows. But we look at the model that they put in front of us and say, oh, that's the model. That's what we got to look like. That's what we got to talk like. You've got to get rid of your slang. You've got to get rid of your talk and talk more like a certain way. And you've got to act really intelligent to be accepted. Is that true? Where'd you get that? So a lot of us end up living life under the parasite called imposter syndrome, eating you because inside there's still a musician, there's still an artist. Let's say when you were young, you used to draw all the time. You got sketches sometimes. You go through your old notebooks and you see these wonderful sketches. Why didn't we continue that? Because we grew up. You've got a job now. You've got a family. You've got responsibilities. That's a big one. You've got responsibilities. You got to grow up. Act your age. What does this mean? Act your age. Because people will say things that if you allow it will cause limitation and lack and suffering within you. And you just learn to take it. Especially if you feel like you got to be validated by other people. Especially if you feel like you've got to be validated by people who you feel are authority figures, like your parents, uncles, aunts, best friends, family. Because a lot of times they're afraid for you in the name of love. I love you and I'm scared, Dr. B. That's not your real name, Dr. B, anyway. A lot of your family, that's not your real name. How come you don't use your real name? Your real name is the name that you realistically would like to use. The one that calls you, the one that you were given may not be the one that you desire. You have the right to change your name, change your career, change your talent, change your talk, change your dress the way you like. You don't have to be in fashion and stay in some corral like the rest of the sheep, because the sheep were all told that they're in the sheep and they got to wait for the farmer. They got to wait for the landlord. They got to wait for whoever's in charge, the governor, the president, the people, your best friends, to allow you to think, to be free like you'd really like. So you create this personality, this imposter that causes you to never really rise the way you could and do what you really, really would like to do. See, we have labels. This is what you call something. That's not really what it is. This is what everybody's agreed to call it. A chair. We all decide to call a chair a chair. But in China, they don't call it a chair. So they have a different label. Have you labeled yourself? Have you allowed yourself to be labeled? So you fake it and just be what they said you are. That's not your real name. What is my real name? What am I calling myself? Who am I calling myself? Do I have choice? Does the universal God give you choice? Yes. Then we move from labels to references. This one can really get you caught up. References. We're always referencing other people's work. These references are ideas, theories, theorems, thoughts, choices, and decisions, many times that you have received from others. They're hand-me-downs. So you live this plastic life. You live this polyester life, being what they want you to be, what they expect you to be, dressing the way they said, talking the way they talk, showing up the way they said. They live, and they will control you until you put on the glasses so that you can see what's really happening. This, for me, has been deep because for the first time, I am confronting some parts of myself that needed to go. I'm confronting some friends and some family that I need to move away from or stop allowing the world to make me be what they want me to be. And I become an imposter. It's almost impossible to do, but guess what? We use most of our energy trying to do the impossible, which is not being who we came here to be. It's 2026, y'all. It's time to do this. They told me I couldn't write a book. You got literary problems. You'll never be able to be an orator or a speaker or even a famous artist. I supported everybody else's art. Everybody else who wanted to be a speaker, a teacher, an actor, an actress. I supported them. My father would always say, well, what about you? What about you? Yes, people say, well, you've been on the stage for a long time, teaching a lot of us a lot. But what I really could be doing, what you're seeing is possibly 10%. How many of you out there are out there giving 100% of who you truly are? Or you find yourself, truncating yourself, limiting, compressing yourself so that you can act a certain way for others. It's over. Even in relationships. Think about it. You got a certain way you talk around your loved one. Oh, I love you. Oh, everything is so beautiful. People who seem like they're supporting you, when really a lot of these relationships are transactional. When I was in the music business, oh my God, Dr. B, you're a genius. It's amazing. We love you. Until I started doing music that was more revolutionary. Wait a minute now, Dr. B, I don't really like that. Now, why are you doing that? That's not who you are. I became typecast in the rap music industry. I got into music. I was into jazz and R&B and music that seemed to open the mind and create this whole world of possibility. When I first got into rap music, I was asked to produce a group. And I said, well, I don't really do rap. Then they pulled out a big stack of money. Guess what? I went and bought a drum machine. Took that money and bought a drum machine. And began to do what was making money. And became very good at it. And at first, what the rappers were talking about was really, they were street griots telling the story of what they went through. But then it got to the point where it switched. And these beings took over the industry. These people who owned, pharmaceutical companies, prison complexes, liquor companies. And they began to tell us and tell me what I needed to do to get the money, to send these messages out. And this was during the time when they were beginning to suppress any music, rap music, R&B music, and anything else that had a message. And it slowly moved into these stories that caused people to change. Because after you're repeating something over and over and over and over, your subconscious believes that it's true. I'm not against any music. I'm not against you doing your thing. Do your thing. I'm not telling you don't do whatever. I'm saying what I personally went through was I was going through a certain type of imposter syndrome when I began to make music, not for me, but for them. This is what they want. Got to get the people what they want. What do people want? Do you even know people? How many people do you really know? Even the people you think you know, you don't really know. I just found this out recently. There's some people I thought I knew who I realized I didn't know. Oh, well, maybe we changed. They changed. I changed. That's true. I'll take that. We change. So you don't know anybody because people are always changing. You wake up today, you're totally different. We got to rediscover ourselves, recreate ourselves each day. So we have these references on what a hit record is. We're getting these new references now because some of the top records on the charts are not made by people, they're made by machines. Now, people may have prompted this and put these words in the AI. The AI made the song. Some people that's great for them because they would never be able to do this otherwise. So I'm not saying that AI is bad. I'm saying, but when the top songs on the music charts, at least the pop chart, are made by machines and the people who made them don't have any musical talent. Now, some people are using AI musically. I'm not saying that. Some people are great musicians who add to it. I'm not saying don't use it. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that when the top choices, your new references, are all based on AI, all your thoughts are based on AI, your conversations, your choices are based on AI. Even your spirituality and how you see the world becomes based on a computer network. And you begin to agree that that's tight. That's amazing. Oh my God. You have new references. What about the people who've spent their whole lives creating art? Who've invested hundreds and thousands of dollars and hours in being a cultural creative? What about them? Should we natural creators quit now because we believe the machines have taken over? No. It's time to get real. It's time to tap into organic intelligence more than ever. It's time for you to unveil who you really are. This is the time to show what reality really is. Reality is not just what you heard. It's not just the references you've been giving, because you look at, your social media and it's telling you what to be, how to think, how you should feel, who you should love, who you should not love, who's right, who's wrong. The news networks, the spin masters have always been in a place where they're creating ideas for you. Where are you? Who are you is the question. It's time to be yourself. If you're a musician, be a musician. If you're a singer, sing like you've never sang before. You're an artist, break out that stuff and begin to draw again. If you're a writer, write. And I think everybody's got a book in them. Not everybody's going to be a writer, but you've got a book in you. Your life is a book. Don't think that it's not that important, especially if you've got a book or a movie or some idea that can help other people solve some of the challenges. That's why I wrote this book, because I was writing into the world, sending waves of ideas into the collective consciousness that I felt I needed to say, things I needed to do, spells I needed to break. That's why I wrote the book, What's Eating You? I want to read a little bit from the book now, and bear with me because this is one of the challenges, is reading in public. Growing up, I was called dyslexic, weird, slow, retarded, and crazy. The very traits I was, I need to make this a little bigger. Excuse me, y'all. Give me just a second as I make my screen a little bigger. There we go. I think that's it. Hold on, y'all. Give me just a second. Whew. It's really interesting when you start moving towards something. It's like things pop up. Like right now, my screen is going crazy because it's time for me to read aloud. Little B, get up in front of the class and read. Oh my God, I'd go into paralysis. I'd start stuttering and stammering. So bear with me as I read this. I was called dyslexic, weird, slow, retarded, and crazy. The very traits I was ridiculed for becoming. Oh, I'm going to have to move this even closer because this is weird. Hold on, y'all. It's not letting me do it. Okay. I was ridiculed for becoming. I was ridiculed for. Let me just start again. I'm going to do it, y'all. Hold on. Just be patient. Oh, they said move this over. There we go. Oh, this is deep. Hold on. So dyslexic, weird, retarded. Why are the numbers all over the screen like this? This is what I'm talking about right here. I'm actually beginning to feel it. The storm. It's getting smaller. I'm almost there, y'all. There we go. I'm going to start again. Growing up, I was called dyslexic, weird, slow, retarded, and crazy. The very traits I was ridiculed for became the gifts I now teach with. A fork-tongued reptilian teacher once told me I was unteachable and that I'd be pushing a broom for life and that I'd never go to college. I have been a college student for only 2.5 weeks. Did you hear that? I actually went to college for 2.5 weeks. Later in life, after breaking records in the music business, and my music production partner and close friend Tracy Kendrick and I were asked to teach at UCLA, and we did for 4 years. UCLA even gave us teaching certificates, certifying us to teach anywhere. So I guess that reptile of a teacher was right. I was unteachable because I was born to be a teacher. Mental parasites. Now, I'm reading actually pieces of the books so that when you hear this, you'll find this in the book, and I'm just picking out certain things that you might be able to relate with. Mental parasites consist of unresolved feelings, disagreeable experiences, emotional suffering, and traumatic memories that consume the mind. Even though these issues originated in the past, they replay whenever triggered by events with similar attributes. It could be colors, smells, sounds, holidays, names, places, almost anything that of reminds us consciously or subconsciously. Feelings like fear, anger, rage, sadness, worry, grief, worthlessness, and shame hijack our emotions. For some, a single event may activate this parasite. For others, it operates daily, quietly, keeping them from reaching their highest potential. Think about that for a minute. Have you experienced this? And some of us have what's called winner's remorse. There's times when there's a program that causes us to reduce and limit who we really are so that those around us can accept us better. So just imagine, there's a big swimming pool, right? And most of your friends can't really swim. They got to stay over on the kiddie level, where it's only 3 feet. But you could go all the way to the 12 feet. You could swim. But to stay with your friends and your family and to keep them comfortable, you don't go out into the deep. You stay in the shallows. You stay in the shadows. If you have friends and family who have lived their lives in the shadows, something in you says to be friends, to be a part of this group, you must stay shallow. How many of you have this? It's a parasite. We feel remorseful for those who may not have the talents that we have. This is the type of learned limitation. Once you have done something over and over and over, it becomes a part of the program. It becomes a part of you. We learned how to limit ourselves. Now, there are some things we do need to limit. Now, some things we're just a little too wild, and certain things, certain habits, yes. I'm not saying all limitations are bad. I'm saying about your true talents and who you really could be. If you're a winner, you must get out there and win. And winners never give up. Winners don't listen to losers. You don't go to losers and ask them for opinions about winning. Many of us have modeled our parents in the way they lived, in the way they fit into a mold. And that's just the way they are. That's just the way they are. That's just the way we are. That's the way we are as a family. Let's say you come from a family of people who are fighters and arguers, and they always need to, to have the last word. And if you're not careful, you'll begin to model that because you may be the peace giver, the peacemaker, the love maker. If your parents or the people who raised you or the community that you come from acts a certain way, how often do you just model that so you can be a part of that? Because that's love. They love me. If I go be too successful, it's going to break the love. They're not going to be down with me. I remember I heard many times growing up, don't be a show off. Don't be how many of you have heard that? Don't be a show off. Now, sometimes that kind of works. Now, showing too much of what you have and being a little too materialistic, and that's the thing now. In a lot of communities online, it's all about showing what you got. Show the world. There was a time when we used to be more private. You're in a new relationship, and you need to talk about it every day, every meal, everywhere we go. We got to talk about it. We got to show it. Do you realize what you're doing? That if you don't have any privacy, what do you have? You're showing everything, every meal, and you got locations on, and they're geolocating you everywhere, following you. There was a time when we used to be more private about everything. You got a lot of money. You don't need to show it. You don't need to tell everybody what you've got because that's the way they come for you. They know what you got. You're too out there. You're too public. Or you created this personal persona, this personality online where you looks like you're really doing it, but actually you're not, and you'd like to get some help. It's an image. These references are things that we sometimes got from the world, and they told us this is how you make it. This is how we do it. Show everything. I was talking to this one sister, and she's she's a natural healer, a natural nurturer. She's a medicine woman. And one day I saw a post, and she was basically showing everything. And I said, what happened? You used to be more modest. She says, well, that's what you got to do now to get likes. I said, so you're showing all your... I said, so when I see that, I don't see the healer anymore, the medicine woman. I'm looking at you because it's a sexual attraction. So now we're selling impact. Your impact should be what you do, your talent. Be really good at what you do. I'm not telling you not to show your body. I'm not saying that you got to be out there with your shirt off. Oh, you shouldn't be out there with your shirt off and showing your muscles and your 12 packs and all that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying you need to realize what you're doing and how you are putting so much out there for the people who you say are running the world, so that they can see who you are, what you do, what you think, what you like. Doctor B, how come you never like none of my stuff? Because I don't put what I like on the internet. I don't tell the machine everything about me. How come you don't have your family pictures on? Why would I put my family on Front Street like that? Have you seen what has happened in history? Look at history. I'm going to leave that alone because that gets deep. Show who you really are. And if that's who you are, then be it. I asked the sister, is that who you are? She says, well, no, I would never do this. In fact, my mother is really upset about it. That's because there is wisdom coming from your mother, that grandmother medicine. Show what you do. Be who you really are. Be 100% of who you truly are. They used to tell us, you got to get good grades so you can... That's another program that came down from school, from parents, and from our community. You got to get good grades. Just get all A's. That looks good. And, your family wants to show it off. Yeah, he's really good. He gets all A's. He's not happy. He's not joyful. He's just getting A's because y'all said he got to get A's. And get A's in subjects that you're never going to use, things that you just memorize and you just model and just, just not something you feel in your heart. Something you got to do. And you may need to do that when you're young, but when you get out of school, when you grow up, you've got to grow into yourself and break free. Because those school grades, that's great in school so that you can get into college. College teaches you how to keep a job. High school tells you how to get a job. Right now, there's so many ways to create income. You don't necessarily need that. In fact, I don't even know, unless you're going for a corporate situation, how important is that? Is the real you underneath eating you alive? What's eating you? Are you being who you really came here to be? Or are you just doing things? And I'm not telling you, I'm not judging you. I'm looking at myself and how many things I truncated, cut off, and edited out of myself to be something for somebody else. Because they love me. Most of us don't even know what the word love really means. Those are my friends. Do you really know what the word friends really means, where it comes from? Go do the etymology on the word friend, and I guarantee you might not be using it as much. How many times have we used words like try? I'm going to try. I'm going to try. This is learned behavior. Learned limitation. Either you're doing or you're not. You're being or you're not. And the question today is, are you being a human being? A lot of folks are becoming human doings. They're just doing what all the rest of the sheep do. You may have maybe using words like hope and pray and wish. Do those words really work for you? If they do, keep using them. I couldn't hope on this book happening. I couldn't pray. I had to be grateful for the completion of it. Being grateful in advance is very powerful. Well, if you're lucky, you'll be done by. People used to give me a date. Well, if you're lucky, how many times have you received that? If you're lucky, what does that mean? If you're lucky, well, what if you feel unlucky? And that's the ruminating thought rolling around in your head. Get real, Dr. B. How are you going to be an author, Dr. B? Get real. You ain't never remember all the problems you had in school. A very close relative or friend, I don't even we call ourselves relatives, we're actually friends, said this to me. After all the problems you had in school growing up, you're gonna write a book. Now you just need to go out and be a comedian or be a this and be a that. They're gonna tell me what I should go and do. Have you experienced this? Whew. In the 1900s, the Carnegie Foundation. Wait a minute, that's not what it says. I need to move this so I can see it better. The Carnegie Foundation commissioned Abraham Flexner to create a report about medical schools and hospitals. This was cloaked as a concern for the quality of healthcare education in the USA. The story goes that the Rockefeller and Cargill drug companies used this report to fund only those in the medical business who exclusively prescribed pharmaceutical drugs. Guess whose drugs? Whose drugs do you think they prescribed? Historians say this created an all powerful political and medical coalition that suppressed natural remedies, treatments, and holistic medicines, many of which were highly effective. This created a dictatorship type medical monopoly that vilified any and all natural healing methods, whether they were effective or not. The average person was forced to comply, become brainwashed, and become afraid of natural treatments. They surrendered their innate spirituality. This is where it's at, y'all. They surrendered their innate spirituality and gave away their sense of discernment and rational thought. They say the Flexner report was created and used to coerce, and scare much of the world. They created written proof that this new monopoly was the best way to ensure quality healthcare. Dr. B, what's that got to do with what you're talking about? Because there are people who are natural healers, natural nurturers, who this report basically got them to let go of their natural talents. Have you heard of the Flexner report? This goes into everything: art, everything creative was changed around this time when we began to let these banksters, these gangsters, control our minds. So even though it seems like I'm only talking about the medical business, these same people were involved in all of the arts. They began to control everything creative. Do y'all know about this? I talk about it in the book. Let me see how I can do this. I want to show you something else. Y'all breathing? Okay, that's what it takes, breathing. I'm going to read that page once more because this is the beginning of us creating ideas that cause us to become imposters of who we really are, to begin to learn limitation, to have winner's remorse, to begin to truncate and limit and compress who we are. In the early 1990s, the Carnegie Foundation commissioned Abraham Flexner to create a report about medical schools and hospitals. This was cloaked as a concern for the quality of healthcare. Healthcare is everything: mental, physical, spiritual. Healthcare education in the USA. The story goes that the Rockefeller and Cargill drug companies used this report to fund only those in medical business who exclusively prescribe pharmaceutical drugs. Guess whose drugs? And this is also plastics, pushing of plastics and polyester. I mean, using artificial medicine, artificial ideas. This was the artificial insemination of the people. That's when it started, early 1900s. Historians say this created an all-powerful political and medical coalition that suppressed natural remedies, treatments, and holistic medicines, much of which were highly effective. Whew. I want you to think about that for a second. How do you feel about that? I'm working on some technical issues here. There's a lot going on as we begin to move towards liberation. Stuff pops up. This created a dictatorship type medical monopoly that vilified any and all natural healing methods, whether they were effective or not. The average person was forced to comply, become brainwashed, and became afraid of natural treatments, natural ideas, natural feelings, natural creativity. They surrendered their innate spirituality and gave away their sense of discernment and rational thought. They say Flexner Report was created and used to coerce and scare much of the world. They crafted written proof that this new monopoly was the best way to ensure quality healthcare. This is also dealing with mindset. Mindset manipulation. As I was coming to the end of this book, the test came. The computer failed. Data was lost. Storms came. The winds howled. The rain blowed sideways. And the windows shook at times. My old saboteur mindset whispered, "Stop now. You're a born loser. You'll never finish this book. You're mentally handicapped." But I kept writing, at times stopping, starting, breathing deeply, fighting my mental, physical, and energetic parasite demons. The opposition was powerful, but I kept going towards the goal, even though it took 7 years. On 10/22/2025 at 2:22 a.m., 2:22 a.m., I finally finished this book and broke a spell and graduated from victim to victory. I celebrated and cried like a baby. If I can do it, you can do it too. In order to succeed, we must realize what's been eating us. As a child, we are programmed. And many of us have created an imposter syndrome. That's not who we are. That's just who we have agreed to be, who we have allowed ourselves to be. The question is who are you really, truly at the root? Are you ready to explore that, to expand that, and to express that? Have you been seduced by winner's remorse, not going the whole way, not swimming in the deep pool, not pushing yourself as great as you could because of the programming? This has got to do with the medical business, the spiritual industry. Notice what I said, the industry. Whether it's healthcare, sports, music, who controls it? How many of us have been faking the funk and doing just a little bit? How many of us have learned to be automatically in limitation mode? How many of us have modeled our parents? Because, sometimes your parents are gone and you're still trying to make them happy. Still trying to be what they wanted you to be. They only knew what they did. They did the best at being who they were. Don't be mad and upset. You've got to learn to break free from mental, physical, and energetic parasites. How many times have you heard, don't be a show off? Don't do your best. Get real. Get serious. Get good grades. How many times have you asked other people to validate who you are? These are parasitic mindsets. Constantly hoping. You got to actually do something and move towards it instead of keeping hope alive. You got to keep love alive. You got to keep passion alive. You got to do what's in your heart. Pray, just pray. And a lot of folks learn to beg and pray, beg. Instead of being grateful in advance, wish, make a wish. What is a wish? You've got to get up and actually do something. Otherwise, the parasites will eat you alive. During the writing of this book, went through a lot, and I'm still going through it because even though, like right now, it's in the process. It's just going through a whole process of the publishing and the posting it, and there's a lot of things that you've got to do. And even during this, a part of me is like, oh, this is too much. I got to learn too much. I got to remember this. I got to do that. I got to sign this form, and I got to figure out my tax ID numbers, and they want this and they want that. And there's still voices in my head that say, Dr. B, just don't even do it. But I'm going to go through and do what I came here to do. You got to go through it because all of the stuff, the storm is all about limitation. When I was getting towards the end of this, it was crazy what was going on. You don't know how many times I've lost the data. How many times have I given up? How many times have we given up? How many times do you give up? And be really careful, because a lot of times the people around you, when you get closer to your goal, they begin to get real funny. They get tricky. They become agents. They become, it's like, I thought you were with me. A lot of the people that we look up to, they think bad about everything. They always think something's going to go wrong. How many people around you always think the worst? How many people around you are always talking about the problems, and what they're not going to let you do and what you're not going to be able to do? This book is about breaking free from all of that. This book is about us waking up from a deep spell. Is this good or is this good? It is my highest choice and desire that, each person who reads this goes through a transformation, goes through and destroys that stuff, breaks through that stuff that has limited us. Cleansing, detoxification is very important. Making sure our blood has enough iron, it's important. If you don't have enough iron in your blood, you're not going to be strong. You're not going to have enough oxygen. You're not going to have enough nutrients. Yes, a lot of this has to do with how many nutrients you have in your blood, how much essence, how much nutrition, what type of nutrition. Because if you're eating the food that you ate during the times of lack, limitation, and parasitic mindset growth, if you're still living there, then if you're eating the foods that remind you of family and remind you of love from the family, even though that love sometimes was not a higher love, we got to change. We've got to detoxify. What is eating you? What's draining your energy? Ask yourself these questions. Are you willing and ready and able to break free? Are you willing, ready, and able to take this journey from opposition to liberation? Even when I started reading today, you see how many things begin to happen technically. My screen was going crazy because the universe sometimes will test you to see if what you're going through, you're willing to go through to get to where you're going. You will be tested by friends, by family, by mates, by lovers, by husbands, by wives, by friends, by you know what you call your soul group. You will receive pushback because everything is connected to its opposite. What does that mean? That means that you can't have up without down. You can't have back without forth. It's all happening. It just has to do with your mindset and what you're willing to do, what you're willing to let go of, what you're willing to break free from on this journey from opposition to liberation. It's going to be challenging. Some people make it look easy, but behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. Dr. B, when's the book coming? We've had some technical things that have to be taken care of. Please go to elevationtime.com, get on our email list. And you get on that email list, you'll be the first ones to know. It should be within the next 2 weeks. So there's going to be a pre-release for those of you who would like to get in on it now. And then there's going to be the actual release. I'd like to give you a date, but every time I've given this date, it moves because there's things that's got to be done technically behind the scenes. But I'd like you to be the first to have this information, the first to experience this book. At the beginning of anything, any new venture, there's chaos. The hardest part of a journey is the beginning, pushing off from the shore. When you begin to lift off, you've got to get to a certain velocity before you can get out of the atmosphere. That comes with it. When you start exercising again or learning a new exercise, it's going to be some pain in the muscles, pain in the body, until you get to a place where it becomes easier. So please go to elevationtime.com. Get on the email list. And so that you also, this is another thing. Be ready. There's a soundtrack. So you can purchase the book. You can also purchase the book and the soundtrack. And there's 22 tracks, 22 medicine music tracks going to be a part of this soundtrack. This is a huge undertaking. So that when you're reading the book, there's a soundtrack. You know, things with music is amazing. Like movies. Imagine a movie with no music. Imagine going to church and there's no music. People might leave. Could you imagine the preacher's preaching and just by himself talking? You'd be like, well, look, where's the band? The movie. You need the music that creates the drama. So there's a soundtrack that will be released with the book. So you can buy the book. And let me show you how it goes really quickly before I end it for today. If you're in the world outside of the continental United States, the book will be available on Amazon. If you're within the United States, you can also get the book from our website. You can get packages with the book and the music soundtrack. And there'll be several different ways you can experience the book, because the book and everything that comes with it is a type of subconscious alignment. We have put the subconscious alignment protocol in the reading of the book, which was really challenging to do, because there's ways that you can actually excite certain parts of the brain by certain words, certain sounds, certain feelings. Somebody's asking right now, will there be an audio version of the book with your voice? That's a challenge right now. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but we're working on a way to do that. Yes. I'm reading some of the questions here. Yes, it looks like within the next week, there will be the first versions of the book. There's going to be several different versions of it, depending on how you'd like to experience it. Yes, there will be a soft cover at first, and then there will be also a hard cover. I'm so grateful to all of you for being here to experience this. And somebody asked a good question. They said, will the soundtrack be digital? Yes, there will be a digital download, but let me tell you, we're putting out this album. It won't be in an MP3 format. MP3 is the way you hear most music today. It's compressed. In other words, they've sucked all the life and all the dynamics out of it to make it, small, the data, so it can fit in your phone and have lots of versions, and lots of songs in your phone or in your device. This song will be released, this project will be released that way, but will also have full bandwidth. You can only truly hear the transformation by hearing it the way it was created in the studio in what they call 5D, 5 dimensions. So you can get full bandwidth, but you'll also be able to get your MP3s. That's the music. Okay. Somebody says, do you know the size of the soft cover? It's 6 by 9, 6 by 9, 6 by 9, 6 by 9. And this is the proofs. We've been going through the proofs because, you get those first, and, you find out if there's anything you'd like to change. And there was a lot of things that needed to be changed once we saw it physically, analog, because when you look at it digitally, it looks a certain way. But when you see the analog pages, whoo. And let me tell you something. This book is a resource guide too. In the back, we have a whole reference guide. So there's books that I talk about here. Just the reference guide alone is it. You could just pick up read these articles that I've outlaid here. Books by some of the teachers, documentaries, films, TV series, music. There's so many things that we've put in here that you can go and figure out what's eating you, all in this one book. The reason why I create things because I find they haven't been created. So most of what I do, whether it's music or whatever, it's usually something that is totally unique. And this is unique. This is unique. So it's a resource guide. It's learning. It's also a dramatic story about some of the things that I went through. You'll hear the story about the Bermuda Triangle, some of the things that I experienced when I was young, and you can relate these things to your life and apply them to you so that you and each of us can change and grow and build. We're doing a sale right now. Let me see. There's a discount code for this weekend only. For anybody that'd like to go to the website and experience some of the products that we have, the discount code for 20% off. Wait a minute, let me change this. This is going to be 20% off for the first time. We're doing 20% off of everything on the website in your cart over $99, 20% off just this weekend, just to celebrate the book coming, so that we can now start this new 2026 vibration, because it's not totally the new year, but it is the new year. And we'd like to sometimes do things to change our lives in the new year. New Year's resolutions. Cleanse, detoxify each time the seasons change. We talk about that in the book. Why? I named the parasites. There's parasites people never even heard of. We talk about the parasites and how they'll actually truncate your mindset, compress and depress and limit you from being who you are. The parasite cleanse, the elevated total body parasite cleanse, deals with especially the one called toxoplasma, which has to do with our mindset. When you break free from this parasite, which takes about 3 months to really do, but when you break free from this parasite, everything changes. Perspective changes. Your feelings change. So if you're interested in the sale, let me show that once again. For 20% off, just for this weekend, put in the discount code book2 at elevationtime.com. While you're at elevationtime.com, also go and check out, go get on the newsletter list so you can get the mail and the notifications when the book has hit the streets. I'd like you to know first. So there's the elevated total body program, which is dealing with not just the systemic parasites, but also the ones like the superbugs that are like toxoplasma. There's a type of malaria that's going around that folks don't even know they have, because it's not the same malaria. It's a different version of malaria. And a lot of these bugs are superbugs that were made in the lab. The elevated program deals with that. And also it deals with what we call spiritual or energetic parasites. The total body program, it deals with just systemic parasites throughout the body, but it doesn't handle the toxoplasma, the superbugs. This was our best program until we came up with what we call the elevated program. Iron, one of the most important nutrients that we're missing in North America. Maybe in Northern Europe too, even in South America, anywhere but around the equator, we're dealing with a huge issue when it comes to iron, because there's not enough of it in the soil. So we have iron essential, which is the natural type of iron. Heaven on earth for the nervous system. While you're going through this change and this shift, while reading the book, heaven on earth is important, because we're going to deal with some things in this book that's going to ruffle your feathers. Is that an old saying? Ruffle your feathers. Passion. We got to be passionate about our lives. Passionate about moving towards our goals. Passionate about being who we really could be. Focus. This helps you read better, think better, helps your brain operate more in a whole brain state, a balanced state, so that you can really take in the new life, the new information. Platinum helps your pineal gland. Helps you get rid of some of those heavy metals. Heavy metals are really affecting us on so many levels. We got to allow ourselves to release this stuff and let go. X Factor is it's an antiviral for getting rid of some of that stuff that has been injected, some of that stuff that has been just in the atmosphere over the last couple years. X Factor. So go to elevationtime.com. Allow yourself to cleanse, detox. Allow yourself to break through. Get on that email list. Be ready for the new book. What's eating you? Break free from mental, physical, and energetic parasites. The journey from opposition to liberation. 22 chapters that will change your life if you use it. Even if you open to any page, there's going to be information about you and about how you can change your life. There's techniques, there's practices, there's exercises that will help open you up to a new world. I'd like to thank you for being here, and I'd like to thank you for bearing with me reading and going through the challenge of speaking publicly. Reading, that's a challenge for me. I'm learning to do it. So I'm glad I have the slides up so you can actually see them. It's something I'm working on. And many things we're all working on. Let's do it together. Let's support each other. Yes, we'll be doing book signings. There'll be somewhat of a book tour in certain cities that we're working on that will be coming up. It will be limited. We're not just going to be traveling. You'll have to do some traveling yourself. And of course, what's coming up soon, March, I think it's March the 1st, Billy Carson and I are going to do a powerful presentation, an amazing presentation here in Atlanta. Go to the website, elevationtime.com. On the front page, you'll see that event. It has to do with the divinity code, tapping into your true divinity inside your body so that you can be who you came to be and rise to the occasion. I want to thank you. Okay, yes, I'll be there doing a book signing there too at that event. Each event I do, coming up, well, I'll actually have books. It is our highest choice to have books and be signing. And I'd like to thank you all for being here, for being yourself, allowing yourself to learn, to change, to grow. And this book is for everybody, not just those who are learning, but those who actually think they know. It's for professionals, people who speak, people who teach, people who have platforms. We'll be doing a bunch of interviews as the book comes out, as we roll it out and move through the challenges of creating something new. I want to thank you all for being here. Yes, you're all VIPs. If you say you're a VIP, then be one, a VIP, a very important person. Make yourself become a very important person. Be a very important person. Act like one, eat like one, talk like one, drive like one, walk like one. Make love as if you're very important. Make love out of the things that are not love. There are many things that we have going on in us that are not love. There are programs that come from the imposter syndrome, learned limitation, winner's remorse. There's so many things that we have picked up. The question is, who are we? Who are we becoming? What did we learn? Did we learn limitation and lack? Yes, we did. Are we ready to break free? Yes, we are. And lastly, I'd like to tell you one thing that really helped me with the writing of this book was this light. In fact, let me put the banner on where you can get these lights. People are asking me, where can we get the light, Dr. B? This is the light. This is the quantum light. Changes the energy of everything you shine it on. This really helped me. At times when I would shine it on my head and my body, on my throat chakra, on my pineal, on my crown, on my energy centers, because this light changes the energy of everything in the environment instantly. So what I'm going to do right now, I'd like you to feel yourself. Give yourself a number. How are you feeling? I'm going to give you a little demonstration of how this light works. Give it a number. How do you feel right now from 1 to 20 or 0? How do you feel? And let's see if we can raise your energy level. Give it a number. And I'm going to shine the quantum light, and let's see if that changes how you feel. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. How do you feel after shining the quantum light? This really helped me in the writing of this book and moving through a lot of these, challenges in creating something new. Did you feel your energy shift? Everything changed? If you're interested in those items, there's a lot of items at improveyourlife.us. Make sure you tell them Dr. B sent you, otherwise you can't buy it. So there's the light, there's all kinds of things that deal with radiation. We talk about that in the book, how radiation and many of these waves and energy is eating away at us. It's reducing us. And last but not least, make sure you get your cleanse. Detoxify your body so you can be cleansing during, before, and after you receive your book. Detoxify your body. Get the Elevated Total Body Program or the Total Body Program right now at elevationtime.com. Don't forget, use your discount code BOOK2. Book 3. Is it book 3? Let me make sure. Oh, the discount code is wrong. Hey, y'all. Hold on. That's wrong. I'm glad I checked that. Okay. The discount code. Let me make sure it's on the website too. Correctly. It's book 3. The code is book 3. Forgive me. Okay. The code is book 3. The discount code is good until Sunday at midnight. Any products that you would like to invest in yourself, you can use that code for anything over $99 or more. You're going to get 20% off by using that code. And if you're a member at elevationtime.com, you're going to get 10% off as a member anyway. And if you use the code, that means 30% off if you become a member and you use the code. I'd like to thank you all for being here today. It's been challenging. It's been good. On Instagram, you can find us too. Let me see, put that up because that's got to be up there too. Become subscribers at YouTube. Like this video. Join us at YouTube. I'm now on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to segue into the next part of the day. Allow yourself to get this book when it comes out. elevationtime.com. Get on the email list so you'll be notified about new things that are coming. Much love. You guys travel light.